Good day, children. Today we move on to the seventh lesson from the textbook Footprints Without Feet. The lesson is titled The Necklace by Guy de Maupassant. Henri Rene Albert Guy de Maupassant was a French writer, remembered as a master of the short story form and as a representative of the naturalist school of writers who depicted human lives and destinies and social forces in disillusioned and often pessimistic terms. He wrote some 300 short stories, 6 novels, 3 travel books, and 1 volume of verse. Now, moving on to the lesson. The lesson is about a lady named Matilda who is invited to a grand party. Now, she has a beautiful dress but has no jewelry. So she borrows a necklace from a friend and loses it. What happens now? Let's read and find out. She was one of those pretty young ladies born as if through an error of destiny into a family of clerks. She had no dowry, no hopes, no means of becoming known, loved, and married by a man either rich or distinguished, and she allowed herself to marry a petty clerk in the office of the Board of Education. She was simple, but she was unhappy. So, this lady was a very pretty young lady who was born into a middle class family, that is, her family members worked as clerks. Okay, now clerk is a person who is employed in an office or a bank to keep records, accounts, and undertake any other routine administrative duties. So she feels that it was an error of destiny. That is, it was a mistake of destiny that she was born into a family of clerks. Now, she had no dowry. Dowry, as you know, is the amount of property or money which is brought by a bride to her husband on their marriage, and she did not have any hope or means of becoming known or loved or married by somebody who is rich or distinguished. And she married a petty clerk. Petty is somebody who is not of much importance, somebody with very less importance who worked in the office of the Board of Education. Okay, she was simple, but she was very unhappy. She suffered incessantly, feeling herself born for all delicacies and luxuries. She suffered from the poverty of her apartment, the shabby walls, and the worn chairs. All these things tortured and angered her. When she seated herself for dinner opposite her husband, who uncovered the tureen with a delighted air, saying, "Oh, the good pot pie! I know nothing better than that." She would think of elegant dinners of shining silver. She thought of the exquisite food served in marvelous dishes. She had neither frocks nor jewels, nothing. And she loved only those things. So we see that, she always suffered incessantly, that is, without any interruption. That is, she was constantly under suffering because she felt that, she was born for all those luxurious and delicate life. Delicacies are like, the fineness of texture, structure. So she feels that she is somebody who is made for luxury. But in reality, she suffered, she felt she suffered from the poverty of her apartment, the shabby walls, that is the poor condition of the wall which is not taken care of, and the worn out chairs. So all these things kind of hurt her and angered her a lot. While she sat opposite to her husband to have dinner, he uncovered the tureen. Tureen is a deep covered dish from which a soup is served. Okay, and he was so happy that he exclaimed that it was a good pot pie. Pot pie is it is a savory pie which is baked in a deep dish. So typically with a top crust. So there's a top crust only, whereas it's a deep pie. But when the husband exclaimed about the yummy food on the table, this lady would think of elegant dinners. Elegant means something graceful and stylish in appearance. and she would think of the exquisite food, which is, beautiful and delicate food, and in marvelous dishes, basically referring to something of great wonder, something extraordinary. So she feels that she does not have the correct frock or the jewels and nothing, and she loved all these things. She had a rich friend, a schoolmate at the convent, who she did not like to visit. She suffered so much when she returned. She wept for whole days from despair and disappointment. So she had a schoolmate from the convent. Convent is a school attached to and run by a Christian convent. And so she had a rich friend who was a schoolmate at the convent, and she did not like visiting her friend because each time she visited her friend and she returned, she used to cry for the whole day because there was so much of despair and disappointment in her seeing the richness of her friend. So one evening her husband returned, elated, bearing in his hand a large envelope. "Here," he said, "here is something for you." She quickly drew out a printed card on which were inscribed these words: "The Minister of Public Instruction and Madame George Ramponneau ask the honor of Monsieur and Madame Loisel's company, Monday evening, January 18, at the minister's residence." Instead of being delighted, as her husband had hoped, she threw the invitation spitefully upon the table, murmuring, "What do you suppose I want with that?" So we see that her husband returns one evening quite happy. Elated means somebody who is to make somebody very happy. Okay, so he returns home in so much of happiness, bearing a very large envelope, and he asks her to open it. And she quickly pulled out the printed card because she was excited to know what it is about. And it was an invitation from the minister. The couple had been invited for a dinner party at the house of the Minister of Public Instruction. Now, instead of being delighted, what happened was, Monsieur Loisel expected Madame Loisel to be excited, but she got really angry and she threw the card while murmuring something. And she asked her husband what did he want her to do with the card. Spitefully means showing some sort of an very extreme displeasure. Murmuring, I hope you know what murmuring is. Basically making low, very indistinct, continuous sound. "But my dearie, I thought it would make you happy. You never go out, and this is an occasion, and a fine one. Everybody wishes one, and it is very select. Not many are given to employees. You will see the whole official world there." She looked at him with an irritated eye and declared impatiently, "What do you suppose I have to wear to such a thing as that?" He had not thought of that. He stammered, "Why, the dress you wear when we go to the theatre? It seems very pretty to me." He was silent, stupefied, in dismay at the sight of his wife weeping. He stammered, "What is the matter? What is the matter?" So the husband replied to the wife that, he thought that, she would be happy as she never went out, and this was such a rare occasion which not many employees were invited to, and he was privileged to have been invited to a party conducted by the Minister of Public Instruction. So he thought that she would be happy, and he also told her that she would be meeting a lot of people from his office there, a lot of officials. And then she asked him, "What do you want me to wear to such a grand party?" No, he had not thought about that. So he first asked her to wear the dress she usually wore to the theatre or for movies. Whenever they went out for movies, the dress she usually wears. But then she started weeping. She started shedding tears, and he asked her about it. He got worried, and he's like, "What happened?" By a violent effort. Here stupefied means to make somebody unable to think or feel properly. Okay. By a violent effort, she had controlled her vexation and responded in a calm voice, wiping her moist cheeks, "Nothing. Only I have no dress, and consequently, I cannot go to this affair. Give your card to some colleague whose wife is better fitted out than I." So Matilda, which is the name of the lady, so Matilda, she, with a very violent effort or with a huge effort, she controlled her vexation, that is her state of being annoyed, frustrated, or worried. And she responded in a very calm voice. She said that, I don't have any dress, so why don't you? So that means that I cannot go for this affair. Affair here refers to an event or a sequence of events of a specified kind, okay, or something that was referred to earlier. So she asked him to give it to some colleague. Colleague is somebody with whom one works in a profession or a business. And so she says that you better give it to somebody who has a wife who has a better dress than me. He was grieved but answered, "Let us see, Matilda. How much would a suitable costume cost? Something that would serve for other occasions, something very simple." She reflected for some seconds, thinking of a sum that she could ask for without bringing with it an immediate refusal, and a frightened exclamation from the economical clerk. Finally, she said in a hesitating voice, "I cannot tell exactly, but it seems to me that 400 francs ought to cover it." He turned a little pale, for he had saved just the sum to buy a gun that he might be able to join some hunting parties the next summer with some friends who went to shoot larks on Sunday. Nevertheless, he answered, "Very well. I'll give you 400 francs, but try to have a pretty dress." So he felt bad for his wife when he saw her crying, and he asked her, how much would a simple dress, that you can wear to such occasions cost. Now she thinks of an amount that would neither be refused by him nor scare the poor clerk. And so she says that she will be able to manage a dress within 400 francs. Franc is the basic monetary unit of France, Belgium, Switzerland, Luxembourg, and several other countries. Okay, and Monsieur Loisel was quite reluctant because he had saved 400 francs to buy a gun for himself so that he could join hunting parties along with his friends during the coming summer. And so he told his wife that he would give her the money, and he asked her to buy a good dress. Okay, I think we can stop with this for part 1. We'll continue in part 2. Thank you, children.